crazy days at Neil's Han Dynasty. Please like, share, and subscribe. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. Or I'll send an attack cat to get you. Buy some silver, some platinum, some crystallized osmium. Because they are training hard to come and get you if you don't. That's not what this is about, though. But, I love my kitties, so, I'm going to start it out with that. This is about the show I did yesterday and a little bit of a further on legal issues going on in America, how we're fracturing because of freak Democrat judges that are fixing to be put in line because they are tearing apart our country, and the Supreme Court is recognizing it. So let's go to the story.
So let's take a look at the bigger picture when it comes to this case, because this is obviously going to have a ripple effect. The Trump administration has been really frustrated with these nationwide injunctions. There have been 40 of them so far in his second term already. This ruling seems like it has the potential to maybe break the chains off his agenda a little bit here.
I think that's right. This decision frees the Trump administration from having to run at the beck and call of every single district judge in the country, of which there are almost 1,000. And so what's going to happen now is that the Trump administration will have to stop its executive orders only in the courts where those judges decide against them, but still be able to pursue their policies in the rest of the country. Now, the dissenters in the opinion, let me be clear, this is a very important, significant victory for the Trump administration at the Supreme Court. One, I think that a lot of people did not foresee it back in January or February when the president took office and started issuing the executive orders. Now, the downside is we're going to have fragmentation of federal law throughout the country. This is something the Supreme Court does not want, that most federal courts don't want to tolerate. That's, in fact, why we have an appellate system and the Supreme Court, to make sure there's only one rule of federal law. So what's going to have to happen in addition to this, both for the Trump administration and for the parties that are challenging his rules, is that the Supreme Court is going to have to accelerate the review of questions like the birthright citizenship question to get them to the Supreme Court faster, so that we don't have, say, a district court in Massachusetts and a district court in Texas enforcing different interpretations of the birthright citizenship question in their courts.
Jonathan Turley, I'm just following you on X as we go along, and I don't know how you got to footnote 8 already, but you did. Can you explain what you mean that this is significant?
Brands care about two things.
Well, I think it is very significant. The majority is really pushing back on Justice Sotomayor, saying you can't show me any case law on the universal jurisdiction. They're saying, well, that's the point, is that it's silent, because this, effectively, they say this didn't exist for the framers. They didn't anticipate this, and they certainly didn't anticipate this at the beginning of the Republic. Now, Justice Alito, in his opinion, does flag that the opinion stops a bit short in establishing clarity on issues like class certification. The assumption is, and some people pushed this in the oral argument, that if you want a national injunction, just certify a national class, show that you represent people nationally. There are many that did not want that to happen because it adds a burden for the plaintiffs. Justice Alito is saying, you still left a little bit of wiggle room here that makes me feel uncomfortable, but I don't see how you could see this as anything but a tremendous victory for the Trump administration.
Yeah, 119-page ruling. Everybody digesting it right now. Jonathan going a little bit faster than us here on the desk. Andy, want to bring you back in here. So conservatives in the Trump administration have been frustrated, essentially saying they feel that some of these plaintiffs are judge shopping and district shopping. There's 670 federal judges across the country. You go to one left-leaning court somewhere in San Francisco or Boston, and all of a sudden you get a nationwide injunction that stops everything going on in the country. With this ruling, is that now over?
Well, it's not over, but it'll be significantly curtailed. Jonathan just pointed out that Justice Alito says that there's some wiggle room here. That doesn't surprise me, because the court, including Justice Barrett during the oral argument, seemed to be very sensitive to the downsides of potentially making a rule that said no universal injunctions at all. So I think there'll still be some wiggle room here. We shouldn't delude ourselves. Both sides do this sort of thing. I think when during the Biden years, it was pretty typical for right-leaning states and groups to go to venues like Texas to file actions that involved enforcement of the federal immigration laws bill. So, this is a game that everybody plays, this forum shopping thing. In a way, if you're a lawyer, it'd be irresponsible not to play it if everybody else is doing it. But to the extent that it gets curtailed, I think that's a good thing for the country.